Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Steps Basic, and welcome back to my community show. That's just ridiculous. I'm not doing that one again. That is just stupid. Anyway, that's not what's important. What's important is today we're here to talk about that big old convention that happened recently. Yep, that's right. Man, not VidCon. We're not gonna talk about that. As for the big name YouTubers, I ain't big name. I got a little name. No, we're gonna talk about the one with the initials TC. Yep, that's right. We're gonna be talking about TennoCon. Wait, you thought I was talking about the other convention that TC? Nah. Not touching that one with a 10-foot pole, man. Anyway, so, for those of you who don't know, TennoCon was recently held this last weekend in London, Ontario. And for those of you who really don't know, TennoCon is the convention held by the Warframe developers, digital. But anyway, what's important is, oh my god. Now, first of all, they gave out a prize, sort of. I mean, they had it set up to give out a prize to anyone who watched the live stream event. You know, you get your little Ash Prime there. But, of course, there was some sort of a fault in the system, so everybody got it. Well, almost everybody got it. Everybody who had, I think it was their Twitch Prime account, or their Twitch account, and had been active within the past so many days. But anyway, that's not important. Oh my god, I wanted to go so bad when I heard the announcement that, oh, we're going to be holding TennoCon. I'm like, oh god, that would be freaking awesome. I'd love to go to that. And then they're like, oh, it's in London. I'm like, man, I can't get to the UK in that time. I'll never be able to get money for that. But I was stupid. I didn't think that it was Ontario. I thought the United Kingdom, England. We're going to England. No, can't afford to go to England. Couldn't afford to go to Ontario either. But anyway, oh yeah, if you go to their YouTube channel, they have the videos up. Or if you're in game, you can go to the little display to the right of your navigation command console, and you can check out the videos that they have posted there. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's Play Warframe on YouTube. They also have a breakdown of all the stuff that they talked about, because I had to look it up because I was like, oh god, I remember everything, but I don't remember how to talk about it. But that's what I want to talk about. First of all, I want to get the game related but not really related to things out of the way, because that was kind of interesting, because this is like, it's not just your ordinary little bitty tiny convention. No, this was a massive, pretty big convention too. I mean, they had all sorts of things, including a cosplay contest where the fella, or the person who won, was cosplaying as Harrow. And you'll notice I just completed the Harrow quest line yesterday, and recently, as of recording this video, because depending on when you watch this, it wasn't yesterday. But they won $10,000 for that cosplay contest, and I was like, oh, that is a freaking awesome costume. Oh, and that's the thing about conventions that I really like. Is like, not just the contests, obviously, because I mean, I'll have fun with them, but I don't think I'll ever win one of them. I cosplayed as Captain America once, but that was for the release of the very first Avengers movie, and I think I looked pretty good. But anyway, conventions are pretty cool little places. You can get together and you can meet with other people, meet with the developers of the game, meet with other developers of the game, meet with other players. You get to get news and announcements. This is why I want to go to E3 so bad. I mean, I know it's mostly just big name brands that you see at E3, but it's like a whole atmosphere. This is the area where you get together with people who share an interest with you. And at the very least, you'll have something to talk about. And while they make me nervous as all get out, because, that's a lot of people, it's still something I want to do someday, at one point in my life, before I die. I'll be the 80-year-old at the next TennoCon, or the last TennoCon. But anyway, that's enough with my thoughts on conventions, because I like the idea, even though they kind of make me nervous, and it's kind of cool. But let's talk about what they talked about. Now, I follow Steve Sinclair on Twitter, and he's pretty cool. He's pretty funny and all that stuff. And but he's like one of the lead developers. I'm not really sure. I've been following him, and I've been catching a lot of spoiler-free hints at what stuff is coming next. So if you're looking for somebody to follow, he's got a really cool hat. And yeah, that's the first thing I noticed about him was his hat. And he seems to always have that hat on too, and I love it. But anyway, they announced a number of changes coming to Warframe, a number of different expansions, I guess, updates you call them, that are coming out, and I was like, oh, this is cool. I mean, one of the first things, not one of the first things, but one of the things that really stood out to me was the 2 new Warframes they announced. They just have code names for them, codename Garuda and codename Revenant. That's probably what they're going to be called. Honestly, I can't say for sure, because I'm new to the Warframe scene, and I'm not sure what they do when it comes to new Warframes, if their code names are their eventual names. But dude, look at these two. They're awesome. Oh, I love them. I don't even know what they're about, but this guy, Revenant, very shiny. And Garuda, that's a lot of blades. I'm excited. Next to that, though, they also talked more about the Venus open world. Now, if you watch my if you watch my first review, second one coming soon, if you watched my first review of Warframe, you'll remember that one of the nitpicks I had was that it wasn't open enough. I mean, we had Earth's open area, the free roam, and Cetus, but apart from that, it was like we have constantly changing maps, somewhat randomly generated, and pretty close to you know, very limiting on your exploration, and I love exploration. But they had announced, like really shortly after that, if not right before I made that video, that they were talking about doing an open world on Venus, Fortuna, and just looking at the scenes for Fortuna, it was like, oh my god, this is grungy and beautiful at the same time. And it's like, because you got, just like Cetus and the free roam area on Earth, you have 2 areas, namely the town, the village, the people, and then the free roam area. And from what I've seen, the lower section of the city, or the lower section is the city, and then you have to take an elevator up to this planet's surface. And there's going to be new factions and new things you can get, and weapons and faction stuff you can get. That's going to be cool. I'm like, that's pretty cool. I've been wanting that. I'm not a big fan of how you have to advance in the factions, because I've been stuck on trying to get one of my factions to the last level because I can't get the freaking prime part that I need. But at the same time, it's like the factions on Earth are a little bit different, where you have to collect stuff in the field. I'm not sure though, because I'm not to the last level on them yet either. But anyway, they got the new factions and everything, and then they have the above ground area, the open world, as it were. And just like, I'm not sure if it's like you get the board itself, but there's like a hoverboard thing going on there. And just looking at the scenes of that, again, available on their YouTube channel at Play Warframe. You can go watch these, and I'm going to link them below so you can go watch them too. But they had the Warframe riding on a neat little hoverboard thing. They had an they had a 30-minute gameplay trailer, sort of, for Fortuna. And that looked freaking awesome too. New bad guys, and I'm excited about that. Probably still the Grineer, the Corpus, and all that, but they also had like creatures on the world. Like there was this giant, best I can compare it to was a Metroid or a giant tick, either way. But that's what it looked like to me, was a giant Metroid, and blasting the thing apart, and it was awesome. Beyond that, they also talked about another project in the work called codenamed Railjack. I think that's probably the one thing that got me the most excited about about their announcements. Oh, because they're talking about you get a ship, you get to man it, maintain it, you get to launch like battles in space, and I'm like, oh my god. Now I don't know how far it's gonna go or how in depth things are gonna go, but from what I've gathered from watching it, if they go with what I'm thinking, I'm hoping they do, but it's a massive undertaking. Like they're talking about like floating around in space and seeing like a ship and launching an attack on it. Don't know, maybe, but that'd be really cool anyway. But at the same time, it's like you get to launch from the ship. You can launch your arc wing from the ship, and you can attack other ships. You get onto the ship, you destroy their core and get out before it explodes. Whew, that looks freaking awesome. Another thing they talked about was, well, first of all, Warframe is coming to the Switch, which is cool because I think this is a game that everybody needs to play. Let's see. They also showed the trailer for the new War, but I didn't watch that because that's the forthcoming cinematic story part, and I didn't want to get into that and have anything spoiled for me for like the sacrifice or anything. Who knows where that's going to take us, huh? That's one thing I love about Warframe. I mean, joining now as opposed to joining when it first came out, I missed a lot of the stuff, and I missed a lot of the hype as it was building up. I got to experience a little bit of that with the sacrifice. I haven't played that yet, but there was a huge build-up. Shut up, phone. There was a huge build-up for when the sacrifice is coming out, and following Steve Sinclair on Twitter, following Play Warframe, and just the subscribers to my channel, talking about getting hyped up about the sacrifice. Even my brother, he doesn't get excited about a lot of things, but he's pumped about what this. He got pumped when they announced the sacrifice. I told him, hey, there's a new update coming, and he's like, what is it called? It's called the sacrifice. And I'm like, well, I hope they fix what I want them to fix. I'm like, what's that? I can't tell you. It's a story element. Fine. But apart from that, it was like, whew. It's just riding the hype train, as it were. You know, I haven't been able to get pumped about a game like this in forever, because it's like playing just the usual games that I play, and that's something I like about modern games somewhat. But playing the games that I usually play, and I mean, what I've done in the past when I was a kid and everything, it's like, oh, this game came out, let's play it. Yes. And then if you like the game, you love the game, whatever, yay. But nothing new coming for that game. You get in it, you're gonna play it. I played World of Warcraft for a while, and that was fun. And I also played Star Wars Galaxies, for those of you who might remember that game, before they really screwed it up, which is what actually has me pumped for the space battle thing that may or may not be what I am imagining it, because they had introduced that element into Star Wars Galaxies right before the end, and that was a lot of fun. But yeah, it's like you get this like specifically Warframe, but also there's other games that do this sort of thing too. MMOs specifically, where you get the community really hyped up about a forthcoming update. You know, like, oh my God, what's coming next? And the way they're doing the story is very much, you know, it's an episodic nature to it. So it's not like you get a big old info dump. This is an entire story in and of itself, but it's like you get this one part of the chapter, or you get this one chapter, and then when they update next time, you get the next chapter, and that builds the suspense, and that builds up the tension, and that builds up the excitement. And I really love the way Warframe does that. And yeah, it's really cool to be excited about something, huh? But anyway, that's all I've got for you for today. If you saw anything else at the convention, maybe you were there. Did you go to the convention? If so, make sure to comment down below. I'd like to hear more about what I may or may not have missed. And yeah, get excited, get the pump. But anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me for tonight's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please go ahead and poke that like button for me. If you'd like to, of course, you can comment down below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can, when I can, if I can, you know, all that jazz. And tune in next time as we talk about something else at a different time. And until then, good night.